this is basically the Kobe 4 Gift of Mamba, and what kind of attracted me was just basically the simplistic colorway and the kind of the materials that are being used. Really, I think the materials on here, looking at it now, is really nice, especially when you get it in hand. This kind of embossed sort of snakeskin pattern material that's basically put onto, which I'm guessing is sort of the leather material or some sort of nubuck material. It's basically looks really nice, especially in person. You can kind of hopefully see that in the light. It kind of got almost like a sort of 3D look to it, because the patterns look like it's the kind of the scales are sort of layered on each one individually. That's kind of how it sort of perceives to me. I know it's not, but it's just a really nice way of sort of doing the pattern, in my opinion. And I also like the difference in sort of the gradients of the blacks, which is not normal for kind of an all black sneaker. You don't sort of see that. I know the Travis Scotts, the Black Phantoms do that, but again, the price on those are way too high. That would be something that I'd be interested in. And I know like this always has sort of the Kobe 24 on the back as well, so that's nice and subtle as well. Again, nice thing to have. And just generally speaking, I'm just basically a fan of the shoe. I'm not really that much into sort of black shoes, but this one, because of the way that it's textured and the way the patterns look, is just a really nice sneaker in my opinion. And the only sort of thing I sort of see with this pair that I bought though is the sort of glue stains that you can probably see here. And there's also sort of this weird kind of paint mark here that you can probably just about see. So it's not too bad, but I don't know whether that's a glue stain or a paint mark, but it's not great. And just a few sort of glue stains underneath here as well, basically, which again is a bit sloppy. But that's kind of, I suppose, to be expected from Nike. But I like the kind of this nubuck material. It looks like it will get sort of scratched and faded quite easily, but I don't mind having that sort of worn look, especially with a black sneaker. It looks quite cool and just gives it a bit of character, really. So here are the details for the Nike Kobe 4 Protro Gift of Mamba. It comes in a black and black University Gold colorway, and it has a Cochelon sole with a Zoom turbo unit in the forefoot, and it's made up of all nubuck and leather upper materials, and the price was £165. In terms of comfort and sizing, it has a medium to firm sole, so it's still very comfortable, but just bear that in mind. It's not going to be like a soft or a bouncy kind of feel to it. It's very much kind of more based on sort of stability and performance. And it has, for a basketball sneaker, it does have really good sort of support around the arch as well, so it kind of sort of feels like it's sort of molds to your foot in a way. And the wearing time for these is sort of 6 to 12 hours. The reason being is much like any other sort of Kobe sneaker, you get a bit of tension on your sort of forefoot and the toe area. So once you hopefully sort of wear them in, it should be sort of good to go. I would recommend going half size up for these, because if you have a wide foot, it kind of basically means that you have a bit more space to sort of play with, but even then you're still going to be sort of experiencing a little bit of sort of pinky toe issues, so just be wary of that. But I didn't have no issue sort of with the length, so you can true to size would also work, but you probably just need to break them in a bit more. And I would say they have great grip for all types of weather, really, because it's the traction pattern on here is just kind of really nice and sort of all over the place, and similar to sort of other Nike basketball sneakers. So in terms of the look and style, I kind of like this blacked out colorway. I'm normally not a fan of black sneakers, but for this one I think it just looks really nice. I think the reason it works is because of the faux snakeskin that's on here, and the pattern that's done is like a different type of black versus the nubuck on the sort of medial and lateral side of, and on the toe box area. So it kind of sort of sets it off against that. So it kind of gives you sort of different shades of black. And then I also like the heel counter as well, which is kind of in that sort of plastic material and sort of shiny material. So it just means that the sneaker just sort of looks cool. But I also sort of noticed afterwards that the tongue just feels a bit more sort of plush and thicker as well, so which is quite nice. And the kind of felt material sort of on there, that it feels nice and feels really comfortable on your foot. And with these particular sneakers, because even though they're sort of leather, I feel like you can sort of rock them anytime really. They just feel really lightweight, so I think the leather sort of counterbalances the lightness of the trainer, and you've got kind of the mesh around the tongue, which I think would give sort of a bit of breathability, and same with sort of the holes on the toe box. But I think they're kind of cool for sort of any time really. And there's another thing as well. I think because they're all black, and if you're playing sort of basketball in them, for example, I think these will be fine. It won't show the wear and tear that much. You'll only see sort of bits and pieces on the nubuck, but that's kind of to be expected. And they're good for sort of, like I said, casual wear. I that's how I'm going to be wearing them. But obviously, you can wear them on the basketball court or doing sort of other sort of activities that you do, like in the gym. And I would say you can go with the black laces that come with it. And I could also probably say sail would probably work on this as well, because it sets off against the black nicely. And maybe even red, because I've seen red like on the sort of Travis Scott sneakers, for example. So I think the red would work on this. And gold, so that kind of then matches with the sort of Kobe signature on the heel counter. So in terms of my final thoughts, the pros are it's got kind of the latest sort of Nike tech in there, being a Protro. So I like that, the fact that Kobe sneakers do that. They kind of update the tech based upon what's out at the moment. And the blacked outness of the sneaker, it just adds to sort of versatility, so you can kind of wear these anytime really, and it's a cool sneaker to have. And I also like the look of the Kobe 4. And just like I mentioned earlier, the snakeskin imprint on there is just done really well. It's kind of got this sort of almost sort of scaly sort of texture to it, and it's almost like it's kind of been sort of hand sort of put on there scale by scale. I know it's not, but it feels like that. It's just a nice way to kind of have something different in terms of materials. And I feel like it's a limited edition. I didn't think there were too many about, so just be wary of that as well. So I think it's kind of nice having these because they're a bit niche. And like I mentioned earlier, they're very lightweight as well, so I found them to be sort of nice to sort of wear really, very sort of neutral. In terms of cons, I think, like I said, the comfort, you need time to sort of break them in, so just be wary of that. It takes a little bit of time. And basically the black isn't for everyone, so you will sort of have that issue in terms of if you're not sort of a fan of black sneakers, then you may sort of want to sort of steer clear of this. And just basically, like I mentioned earlier, because of the comfort, you'll have sort of tightness around the pinky toe initially. And on my pair, I just had quite a few sort of glue stains, which I wasn't happy with, and it kind of shows up more on the black. So in terms of the ratings, I give the look and style a 5. I think it's just a really cool looking sneaker, and basically very sort of understated as well at the same time, and just got the details on there, just really nice. And I think they've done the right amount in terms of sort of adding style and nicheness to it. And in comfort, I'll give it a 4. I don't think it's like top of the range comfort, but for a basketball sneaker, it's kind of up there. It's very similar to sort of the LeBron 2021s and sort of other basketball sneakers that I've. And the quality, I give a 5. I think even though it's got sort of glue stains and things like that on there, what sold me is the snakeskin material. I think that just looks awesome, so I'm kind of like happy with that mostly. And the pricing, I give it a 5 as well. I think because it's a Protro and it's got kind of the different sort of materials on there, I think for £165 is a good price. I paid resale for mine. I didn't pay too high on them. And overall, I give it a 5. I just think it's a really nice sneaker. Like I said, I'm not really a fan of black sneakers too much, and this is one that I think is definitely worth checking out if you're sort of in the market for a versatile sort of basketball sneaker or a sort of black sneaker to wear casually.